Mike Ryan's analysis, like a lot of the Miami Heat fans' analysis, is going to be an anger tantrum. We didn't get the guy. We deserve the guy. Why are we so arrogant? Why are we not more aggressive? Brian Windhorst is now saying, and I don't know what the deal was. I've never said what the deal was. No one's accurately reported, as far as I can tell, what the deal is, because Windhorst is on saying he doesn't know if Tyler Hero was ever in the deal. I don't know what was offered.
Well, Tyler did have a very curious tweet that would suggest either he doesn't read the internet at all or that he wasn't in the deal, because Jimmy Butler posted his Instagram post of they should investigate the Bucks for tampering. And I don't know if that was a Gesundheit.
Bless you.
And I don't know if that was a sarcastic dig at how the league got involved a month and a half ago on the Heat's behalf, saying this can't stand, or if there's actually legitimacy behind that. Tyler Hero retweeted with comment what he said, which was kind of weird. He's co-signing on it's unfair that the Bucks got Damian Lillard when he was the guy that was rumored to be at the centerpiece of the package.
And so, because I don't know what the deal is, and because no one's confirmed accurately what the deal is, now you have Windhorst, who's also credible, saying he doesn't know that no one's confirmed whether Tyler Hero was ever in the deal or not. And if they weren't more aggressive in that regard, that seems somewhat silly. I want to go back, though, to what I was talking about, partnerships and the way these relationships are born, because the relationship that Portland had with Lillard, both of them can feel like they were responsible for each other's success, okay? This ended up breaking up Brady and Belichick at the end because of how these office dynamics and the relationships work. But Lillard is trying to keep his relationship with the city and the organization while putting the organization in the bad spot of, I will only go here. And when you do that, you reduce your organization's ability to conjure throughout the summer quietly good offers. Damian took the power, or tried to, with Miami's help, to take the power from Portland. And Portland wasn't answering the phone. Portland's like, no, we're not. No, you're not. You don't get the power here. Hard stop. And
so they were just chilling for a couple of months while all these reports are out there that seemed like just posturing and leveraging media partners, but they ended up being real. The Raptors were involved, and the Bucks ended up being the destination. They just sat idly by. They didn't want to play the game of, okay, maybe we'll throw another first-round pick, because if you see what he got, what Cronin got for this package, and you see what entities like the Ringer and ESPN, They filled months of programming with this, and all their hypothetical trade scenarios, it all had bevy of picks going back to Portland. They got one low first-round draft pick and a couple of pick swaps they won't actually execute, and they have an asset in Drew Holiday that is depreciating, and they're out of leverage there too.
When Roy comes on and yells yesterday during the thing that we did to give you our confused tears live as soon as the news broke. And I'm telling you, it felt like losing a finals game. Tens of thousands of people.
And you know the feeling.
Tens of thousands of people were gathered around the television, wherever it is that they view what we do, simply because they wanted to know what our pain and confusion looked like. And Roy yelled spite. And Amin, who sounded hurt and angry, Amin, who's in the tank for the Heat, but shouldn't have sounded hurt and angry, he called Portland petty. And I ask you the question, if you have a human relationship with someone like Damian Lillard throughout your building, and he has now made it harder for you to get what's best for your organization because of what he wants, has that organization been petty? Is it petty to react to Damian Lillard wanting the power, his agent wanting the power, and then Pat Riley and Mickey Arison and the Heat organization wanting Portland's power and saying, you have no leverage here. We have the leverage. And they're saying, we have him under contract. Is it petty for them to say, now you know what we're going to do? Best offer that's not Miami. We're not going to work with Miami. We're not going to try and flip Tyler Hero to some other organization that needs Tyler Hero more if indeed he was in the offer.
There's always some excuse, man. This is dating back years. I try to rattle off all the whales that they missed out on, and I always end up forgetting like 5 of them. Hell, they even miss out on Jimmy Butler the first pass because they didn't want to give up Josh Richardson, and he ends up giving another one of his years to his prime to a Philadelphia team that was that close.
Now you have Josh Richardson.
We're spoiled with that, though. That argument that we never get a whale, we've gotten the whale way more. There's like more than half the league never gets anyone.
What?
Like, I'm just saying, where's Orlando's whale? Where's the
dude,
Wizards' whale?
Dude, Phoenix
I'm just saying, like, we're sitting here saying we never get the whale. We got Jimmy. We got the big 3. I'm frustrated too, but you can't say we don't get the whale.
What? Look, well, Washington was one of the teams that, remember, we missed out on Westbrook twice. Not that that would have been a good move.
Yes, we don't get every single big free agent.
No, not even free agent. We don't get anybody that we're actually targeting in the trade market anymore. We don't.
It's a great call by Chris Cody.
I mean, it's just
you got the 3 biggest whales at once.
At once, and I'm spoiled, and I feel entitled
where's
to
the
one
King's
other
whale?
You guys are so spoiled. I'm like angry sitting here because you had 2 teams in the finals this year. You have a football team that scored 70 points. You have a football team that's undefeated. College basketball teams in the Elite 8, just be happy. Just be happy where you are.
This might be the best time in South Florida sports history now.
One of them was in the Final Four.
If we're looking at all the
none
teams,
of them have actually won anything the last year.
That is a really
and the
fair
Marlins
We've been
are on
close.
the brink of not making the playoffs.
Wait a minute. You better slow your roll with
I
your
know, I shouldn't
Cubs.
have said
That
that.
was a bad move by you. You allowed me the opening there with your Cubs. Your Cubs. You cannot trust the Cubs. You can't trust them, but your
But
Cubs.
my Pirates.
Your
No, the Cubs stink. I saw a stat today that like the Cubs have blown more games that they were winning in the 8th inning or later than any other team since like the 1950s or something like that. It's just pathetic.
Scott Frost.
Pathetic. They are the Scott Frost of baseball teams.
Why isn't Pat Riley able to do what he did 12 years ago anymore? Why?
because LeBron, Wade, and Bosh.
I know they took the assets, but they rebuilt the assets. They rebuilt them. So Donovan Mitchell, nothing. James Harden twice, nothing. Kevin Durant, nothing. Bradley Beal, we didn't want to give up Bradley Beal, and that was a spending thing, and that's also part of this.
I want to
I'm
know.
mad.
I want to know who we didn't give up, because you're saying that there was just no communication and that our offer. But if you're the Heat, you need to be more proactive on that. Like, you just got to keep throwing off, even if they're not responding. If this is like about keeping Caleb Martin, this is not a good look for the Heat.
But this is your reaction, okay? Look, man, I think people understand the way this part of it goes. This is where we value Damian Lillard everywhere. Ticket sales, merch sales, championship sales. As a business, this is where we place the value on somebody who's going to cost us $219 million. And I know you guys think it's easy to trade Dion Waiters and Hassan Whiteside and any contract. But I will tell you that one of the things that I heard yesterday on Is Portland Being Petty was the idea, are they still mad that we dumped Whiteside on them?
Dan, I'm trade machining Buddy Hield right
Okay,
now. I'm in a bad way.
But what I would say to you is if you place a value on someone and you've got an unwilling or a reticent negotiating partner that has the contract power and is willing to break the standard of we don't send the star wherever the star wants to go, we're going to keep the power. What do you do if, as I've been telling you for a week now, they set the value on X and said, we're not going over this to get a 33-year-old star who by the day is getting older and that contract becomes more difficult when we already have Lowry and Butler's big contracts after 35 that are going to be problematic as well. I know everyone thinks it's easy to just trade Hassan Whiteside and Dion Waiters and reinvent yourself with a bunch of players like Jimmy Butler, but the truth is somewhere in the middle, Mike, between you're spoiled and entitled. And there is reason to criticize that they swing and miss recently a lot in places where they could get their team better. And the offseason, instead of feeling like huge excitement of we get to again add the big giant name, you settle for Drew Holiday, who yesterday on the show, Amin called him a corpse, which I thought was terrible analysis.
Is that a real thing? Is that a real thing? Because
That's good analysis, Tony?
Yeah, Dan, I've stayed quiet for the last 20 minutes because obviously, as you see, I'm in mourning, I'm in all black, but I've realized a couple things that I've been writing down. One, I wrote down haters.
Yeah, he wrote that.
Do you know what that means, Dan? Everybody here is a hater. Okay, Ryan Russillo, who I love, by the way. I love Ryan Russillo. He bought me and Chris a beer in Manhattan Beach. He's the mayor of Manhattan Beach. Love the guy. But he's a hater. The Ringer are haters. I don't want to say it, but I will. Damian Lillard, hater.
What do you
Miami
mean?
hater. And listen to this, Dan.
What do
If
you
you want to go
mean?
down this, rabbit hole with me for a second, I wrote down another thing. PSYOP.
He wrote that too.
Okay.
Okay, take
Let's
us.
go back
I
to what
regret,
you-
I
let's go
regret
back-
asking, but go ahead.
Let's go back to what Jess said earlier this segment.
Let's go back.
2022 All-Star Game. Who was Giannis's first pick? Damian Lillard.
And Steve Martin also.
Right, but no, I'm getting to a point here.
Well, he's right. You wrote down other points that
Let
were
him
made.
cook.
Let my boy cook.
So
Get,
Damian
get out of the
Lillard-
way. Tony wants the ball.
Damian Lillard.
He's doing the Poirot. He's got to set the table.
Yes, I'm setting the table. Thank you. I'm going back to things that were said earlier in the segment. So, Damian Lillard was the first pick from Giannis.
You've been
at the
just,
All-Star
just to be clear, just to set this up properly.
Mm-hmm.
You have spent 20 minutes through song and tears.
Mm-hmm.
You have been quiet. You have been observing. You have been preparing for this moment. You have
Mm-hmm. Yes.
been taking notes so that when the microphone swung to you, you would have written down rebuttals for all the haters.
Underline haters again.
Oh, come one more time. It's that people hate Miami. That's the number one thing, right? Because I got number one and number two. Number one, people hate Miami.
Jessica
they
agrees,
hate to see us win.
Jessica agrees with you there.
agrees with that.
They love to see us lose. They love to have us in black, mourning the chant, all that stuff. They love it because they hate us.
It is good, though. You have to admit that if hating is fun in sports and enjoying another team's fan base's pain is fun, it is even more fun to enjoy Miami's pain.
Because we're just
partially
so
our-
much better.
That's partially
why.
our fault, right?
No.
It's
God,
mostly our fault.
Yeah.
It is
It's not our
entirely
fault.
your fault.
Dan,
No one else's
careful.
fault.
no. Okay, let's get back to the
But
psyop.
but it is mostly our fault. I'm not going to put it all on Mike, but Mike does speak.
Why would it be my fault?
I'll tell you why. I will tell you why. Because Lucy's reaction and Jessica's reaction and Chris's reaction and the country's reaction is the same too. What do you mean Miami never gets the guy? Like, what the hell are you talking about? How many fan bases go their entire decades and decades and decades and never get the guy? Like, not like they got 3 of the guys 12 years ago and then got Jimmy Butler. Like, what are you talking about? It's a level of spoiled that has in this market has no precedent.
The point is, who cares about them? It's us. We care about us. We care about Miami. That's the number one point. Who cares about Minnesota or the Washington Wizards, the Sacramento Kings? Who cares about them? It's about Miami. Back to the PSYOP. 2022 All-Star Game. Damian Lillard, number one pick to Giannis. What if it was the Bucks all along? Right? What if instead of Damian Lillard coming out and saying, I only want to go to Miami? Of course, Portland would never agree to that. If he came out and said, what if I want to go to Milwaukee? Would Miami be on the table right now with a better offer? And would Damian Lillard be here instead of Milwaukee? What if it was Giannis who in the middle of the summer said, what? I'll leave. I don't care. I'll
That
leave
was a
somewhere
couple of
else.
weeks ago out of nowhere. He said, I'll leave.
I'll leave somewhere else. I don't care.
They better get better.
They better get better. And the whole thing was Damian Lillard was waiting in the wings the entire time, using Miami as a stalking horse for Milwaukee to lower their asset level to be like, hey, you know what? Corpse of Drew Holiday. We'll send Grayson Allen over to Phoenix. Hey, Portland, what if you get DeAndre Ayton? What about that one? They're like, oh, yes. We love big men that we don't know what to do with. Perfect. So, Damian Lillard, it was the Bucks all along. PSYOP from them. It all equals haters.
It all was. That's what it, and then it does. The formula does. The formula does always.
Now it makes sense.
Yes, now I understand in ways. All the reporting I was doing, I hate reporting. I do not like making information calls and just milking people for information. But I had it all wrong, and you have it all right. You see it in a way no one has seen it, and furthermore, you are right.